Mr. Beast. Charlie and Dad go monster mad. James Sage and Russell Ato. Charlie is mad about monsters and he adores doughnuts, which is why he has a big problem when his mother makes him a whole crispy sugary pan full. Mr. Beast wants them too. Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, James Sage, illustrated by Russell Ato. Charlie loved monsters almost as much as he loved sugared doughnuts, which is why his mum said to him one day, "Charlie, my pet, if I had a large frying pan, I'd make some of your favourite sugared doughnuts. Go and ask Mr. Beast if I can borrow his big old black one." So Charlie set off down the garden. "With pleasure," gushed Mr. Beast, picking his ugly sharp teeth with a twing and a twang. "But tell your dear mother that I expect to have my big old black pan returned filled to the brim with her delectable doughnuts." So Charlie lugged the frying pan home, and his mum made him as many doughnuts as he could eat, which was a lot. Then she made a batch for Mr. Beast, which Charlie lugged back. But on the way, Charlie began to eat these doughnuts too. And he kept on eating them until there was only one pathetic little doughnut left. And then he ate that. "It's my sweet tooth," explained Charlie, but such a lame excuse did not satisfy Mr. Beast. "You've eaten all my doughnuts, bozo, so tonight I'll eat you. Depend upon it." And then he slammed the door with a bang. When Charlie told his mum that Mr. Beast was planning to eat him, she said she was very sorry indeed to hear that, as she would miss him terribly, but would try not to fret. Then Charlie went through the house, and checking to see that Mr. Beast... Then Charlie went through the house, locking all the doors and shutting all the windows, and checking to see that Mr. Beast wasn't already lurking in the broom cupboard or hiding behind the fish tank. Not long afterwards, Charlie went to bed, but not to sleep, for it was then that Mr. Beast came visiting, just as he said he would. "I'm going to eat you up, Charlie boy," he called. "I'm outside now." Shuffle, rumble, grunt. And Charlie could hear Mr. Beast clambering up the creeper, crickle, crackle, crunch, and then Charlie could hear Mr. Beast clattering about on the roof. Piddle, paddle, plunk. "I'm coming to eat you up. Yes, I am." And then Charlie could hear Mr. Beast stuffing himself into the chimney. Squiggle, shimmy. And then sliding down it. Swish, slither, slump. "Now I'm in the house and I'm really going to eat you up," he shouted. Thump, thumpity, thump. And Charlie could hear Mr. Beast stomping along the hall. Then Charlie heard Mr. Beast kick open the bedroom door with one mighty thrust of his great big foot. Whomp! And walk right in. Blim! Blam! Blump! And when Charlie heard this, he did what any brave person would do in the circumstances. He made himself as little as possible. Yee-haw! Howled Mr. Beast as he yanked back the bed covers. And now I really and truly will eat you up. And he tickled Charlie all over while roaring in a very beastly voice, Yum, yummy, yum. As Charlie shouted, But it's only me, Daddy, it's only me. Such a racket naturally brought Charlie's mum hurrying upstairs. And this is only me to tell you both that's quite enough silliness for one evening, she announced. She told Charlie's dad to act his age, if he possibly could, as it was already way past Charlie's bedtime. And Charlie to stop dwelling on sugared doughnuts and go to sleep without delay. And they both promised to be as good as gold from that moment on. And do you think they really meant it?